But with no further ado, everybody, we have Ashley Silva with the DISC assessment class. Thank you so much for teaching this class today.
Oh, of course. All right, let's get into it. So DISC profiles is the profile assessment, and we're going to talk about your communication style and how that relates to real estate. So a little bit about me. I was born in New York, but I've been living in Florida since I was 10 years old. Claremont, Florida is where we moved to. I'm not sure if many people are familiar with it, but that's where I grew up, and I've been in Miami now for, God, I think 11 years, 10 or 11 years. I went to UCF. I got my bachelor's degree in psychology, a minor in nonprofit management, and now I'm in real estate for the past 7 years. I was in social work before that. Very different transition, but I love it here. And I've also been a Miami YPN leader for 4 years now. I took a little break because I'm a mama of two toddlers. They're 2 and 3 years old. So I've been busy, 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 busy. So now I just wanted to do the DISC assessment again because it has a lot to do with everything to do with communication, our personality type, understanding others' personality types, and how we can relate that to our business. But a couple of quotes here that I like: the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. A lot of times we're talking, we're not sure if people are listening, or we're listening and we're taking things the wrong way or not really understanding. But I think a lot of the fault in that is not knowing other people's personality, not knowing how to mirror, not knowing how to interact. And the DISC assessment helps with that. And later on, like towards the end, I'll explain or I'll show where you can take the DISC assessment. Um, but why is this all important? People work with who they know, like, and trust. We know that in our business, and that's just in general. Like I mean, I'm sure the people that you work with, you choose because you know, like, and trust them, whether it's your doctor, your hairdresser, anyone that um, you do any type of interaction or business with. And then a little history on DISC. So this fellow here is the founder of DISC. He's William Moulton Marston. Um, he is an American psychologist. He developed DISC and also like a blood pressure test that is used with the lie detector. And a random fun fact is that he also created Wonder Woman. He wanted people to understand their own behavior patterns, and the DISC has actually evolved for the past 90 years. So a lot of large businesses use this. They use it for managers, for Salesforce, team members, leaders. They use it to try to understand their employees better. And actually, when I started working at Coldwell Banker, I don't know if they still do this, but they gave me a DISC assessment, like a personality test. And I thought it was very interesting. They're like, oh, and we just want to know like how you'll fit into our culture, into our office. So I thought that was really cool. I don't think it hurts anybody to use it. I think if anything, it's like, okay, you're getting a better idea of who your new employee is, how they'll fit into your office and your culture, if it's a good fit or not. Or, I mean, people have strengths and weaknesses, and this is a good way to see. So if you're not familiar with DISC, these are the 4 categories: dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. It also could be calm. So when you take the personality test, it kind of puts you into, you have like one major personality type, and then you can take characteristics from different ones. Um, but you always have one. You're heavily influenced by one, and then you can have like two of the others, maybe a little bit of the fourth one, but it's really like two big ones that determine your personality type, and it can always change and can always determine based on the situation. But when you're dominant, this kind of person is very direct, results oriented, firm, strong willed, forceful, like they want things done. Um, they don't like the fluff, they don't like the tiny bits or like additional information that they don't need. If you're a high I, you're very outgoing, energetic, optimistic. Someone who is steady is very calm, mellow, like they think things through and they're not heavily, they don't really go based off emotions. Even tempered and conscientiousness, like these are your analyticals. They want to see numbers, they want to see statistics, uh, they want to be perfect, like everything has to be in line in order to move forward. So as you can see, like you might be thinking or seeing one of these and saying like, oh, that one fits who I am, or I can think of somebody who's like this, or I've had a client like this. But I think it's really helpful to know these when working with our clients, our customers, and other realtors, right? Because in essence, when we're working, when we're doing a transaction, we have to get along with the other agent. So it could be the buyer's realtor or the listing agent, because we're the ones communicating with each other and we're the ones that have to get our clients to the transaction table, to the end. Okay, so this is my DISC assessment that I took 4 years ago. And I wanted to bring it up because even though I haven't done it again, at that time, 4 years ago, I was a high I. I don't know if you can, I mean, you can see the black circle there. It's like very centered I. Um, so it was influence. I was energized, enthusiastic, encouraging, impulsive, like all those things. And I feel like at that time I fit into that category very well. Now I don't see myself as that. I've become more into the S. So steadiness, I'm like very calm, very mellow, and I figured this out. Not that I figured it out, but it became more clear after working with customers. Um, I would ask for feedback, I would ask for reviews, and a lot of times, well, the biggest thing they would say is like we loved working with you because of your patience, because during hectic times, like you knew how to calm us down and to keep everything steady. And I'm just I've turned mellow for better or for worse. Um, but I say this because let's say you take the DISC assessment, like don't be stuck on your personality type because everything changes. And it can also depend on the day and the situation and things like that. So here's a little chart. I don't know if you guys want to screenshot it to save it on your phone. Um, but this is another way to look at the acronyms. So dominant, decisive, interactive, stabilizing, cautious. And then at the top here, you have like the high Ds. And then once you get down into the middle, that's like when it starts becoming the low version of. So a low D person is not mild, is not agreeable. A low interactive person is not matter of fact, like that's it would be opposite of who they are. So I don't know if you guys want to screenshot this, but it's pretty self-explanatory here. Um, so all of this matters with real estate. I mean, we all know that within the first 30 seconds of meeting someone, we're already making decisions about them. We're categorizing them. We're like first impressions matter. Um, So to me, you have to be really good at people reading skills, like observing their behavior, body language, their tone of voice, their expression. Like, are they really expressive? Are they stern? Are they calm? Are they like, do they just want to get to the point? Their choice of words. And this is all important because when we're interacting with somebody, I feel like you have to learn, like observe, take in information, and then to be able to build that rapport, mirror that person. So if someone is, even if you're not, let's say like you're not a high I, you don't have like that energy and anything like that. If someone is giving that to you, you can say, okay, this person is very energized. Let me give them that back. And this is something that I also learned when cold calling. So I would cold call, and if somebody, like depending on their tone of voice on the phone, I would try to match that tone of voice to be able to get further along in the conversation. Because if they come out stern and I'm just like, hey, hi, like, I'm so sorry I'm calling, they're gonna hang up. Um, but the times that I would say, okay, this person is being direct, stern, like I would just try to match and mirror and repeat things that they said to be able to like align with them so they know that we're speaking the same language, even if it's over the phone, like without the body languages. But without the body language, you can hear it with their voice. Um, so yes, mirror and repeat. You build a lot of rapport with that and you can continue conversations. So disc profiles and real estate, a perfect match. I am going to go over um, each one, how to communicate with each personality type, what they like, what they don't like. And I even included some fun celebrities to give you an idea of this personality type and who you'd be dealing with. Hopefully you can deal with these celebrities in real life, but just as examples. But this will help you understand your own natural selling style, create open lines of communication with clients. So if you have, I'm sure you're working with many different clients, and each one is going to present their own situations and personality types. So the way you deal with one is not going to be the way you deal with another client, the way you talk with them, the language that you use. Um, and it's important, like, I know a lot of people want to work with who they're comfortable with, but sometimes we get leads and people refer to us that might be outside of that comfort zone. So it's important to know that you can work with them and just kind of like be able to switch based off who you're working with and not be the same yourself with everyone. I mean, essentially to your core, be who you are, but as far as communication styles. Motivating and influencing others, discover how a customer thinks. And I talked about establishing rapport, building trust, and all of this will help you get to the closing table, but not just that. It'll hopefully help you get reviews, referrals for after uh, the transaction ends. So here, if we're working with a D client, high Ds are direct, decisive, efficient, and bold. They want to work with an agent who's going to work as quickly as possible, give them the information they need. Like, this is a person that immediately off the bat, they're going to be like, how much do you think my home is going to be sold for? This is what I think. And this is what I want. They want the agent to be available immediately. They like to accomplish tasks more than getting to know you. So they probably don't care about your resume. They just care that you get it done. They just want you to do what we're supposed to do as realtors. They do not like wasting time. They don't like small talk. They don't like fluff. And this realtor working with this client should be confident, optimistic, and quick to act. Um, so the two celebrities here are Michael Jordan and Angelina Jolie. I mean, I'm sure, and I added cute little quotes down there. So communicating with a D client, when you speak with them, you want to give them the bottom line approach, be brief and speak up, focus on your discussion narrowly, like just get to the point with them pretty much. Avoid making generalizations. And I feel like more than anything is because they'd question you about it. Um, don't repeat yourself and always find solutions. Be solution focused, be solution oriented. A high D person, like if you tell them, something is wrong with the inspection, or they'd probably be like, okay, so what do we do to fix it? Like, don't just tell me what to do and we can do it. Um, so be very direct with them. It's pretty straight to the point. And I'm sure, I don't know if you're thinking about your D clients or even realtors that you've worked with, but important just to be on the ball with them. Working with an I client, here we have Oprah Winfrey and Elton John. They are outgoing, expressive, interactive. They want to work with an agent that captures their attention. Like these are very personable. Like this is where you can walk into a home and let's say, since we're talking about, well, I was talking about Copa America, like if you see like soccer balls or for the sake of last night's game, Argentina flags, like you can get into conversation with them, find something to relate to them with, um, find commonalities. They like people more than they like tasks. So very social, very outgoing, very expressive. They do not like too many details, boring activities, or perfectionism. So I feel like I can still relate to this, especially the perfectionism for certain things, but I feel like sometimes done is better than perfect. Um, just get things done, get it out there. Too many details. Also, just it's kind of like get to the point here. Don't get into all the little things. And a realtor working with an client should be friendly, outgoing, and creative. Creative in the way that you market, creative in the way you problem solve, um, creative in the way that you speak with them and relate to them. And communicating with an client, allow them time to ask questions. Clients love to talk, so just listen. Let them talk more than you're talking, um, and see what happens from there. Focus on the positives. Avoid overloading them with details, and do not interrupt them. And speaking of interrupt, does anyone have questions? I can't see the chat, Kevin. Is there anything? Kevin? No.
Sorry, sorry, I didn't hear you. What's going on?
No, I just said, is there anything in the chat? No.
Oh, I, I think they're just kind of, I think they're just kind of mirroring what you're saying. There was,
Okay, it's fine. It's because I wrote here about interrupting, so I was like, let me see if anybody.
yeah,
I have a question.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Is there a way that an agent or an individual could leverage their own personal personality towards a customer or a client instead, like not instead of reading the room or, sizing up the customer and being able to, I guess, give them the pitch so
Mhm.
that it's geared towards their personality. But is there a way that one can leverage their own, like if one scores a 99 I or a 99 D or whatever, and they're a strong personality in one direction, is there a way that they could leverage their own personal skills? Do you know?
Is there a way to leverage your own personal skills? Um, I feel like just the way to do that is by knowing the other personality types and seeing like how can I with a high I or a 99% D work with someone that's an analytical or work with someone that's very steady. So by knowing yourself, you'd be able to leverage the other personality types. Is that more like what you're saying, or
No, I'm not really
think that's
saying,
how
I'm
I would work
asking.
it? Because like if I like let's say we study the DISC assessment and we go through each one of them and then we know them, it's like, okay, like I know my personality type. So the way doing that would be knowing how to mirror the other ones to be able to leverage my own skills, really.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so working um with an S client, I feel like Jackie Chan was very fitting into this, and Taylor Swift is all the rave now, but she is someone who is steady as well. But working with an S client, high S's are supportive, tactful, even tempered. Uh, they want an agent who is detailed, wants to be copied on email. So someone who is steady, they want to know everything. They want to know what's going on. They kind of want to be in control as well. So, and the way to make them feel that they are is just by oversharing with them, letting them know everything. Be like, this is someone who you want to be super transparent with. Whereas a D, it's like, don't copy me on everything. Just tell me what it is that needs to be done. So, an as client, they prefer to follow, not lead. They just wanna be in the know, and they do not like change, like, change would probably freak them out, like, if something goes wrong during the transaction or, um, like, liens came up that they didn't know about or any kind of hiccup, they would probably need you to be calm for for them. Not confrontational. They don't like conflict and they don't like the unknown. So that's why, like, you should be, as an agent, very detailed, respectful of their time, transparent, patient, hold their hand, let them know everything's going to be okay. The world's not going to fall apart and we're going to get it done. And this is how we're going to get it done. Um, so yes. And communicating with an S client, be personal, be precise, express your interests and how you want to help them, and also what you expect from them. So I had an S client, like, they needed to know everything, if they could be at the inspection, why couldn't they be at the inspection, what happened to the inspection, why did they say that my outside light bulb didn't work? Um, and I learned from that to set that expectation up front, like every little thing that they're going to check. So I guess in a way to leverage this is, like, if I know that I'm working with an S client, I would provide an inspection, like an old inspection report, maybe not an old, but like a template with a checklist of everything that an inspector is gonna look for in order to make them feel better. So when the time comes, they know what to expect. They know what's going to happen. When an inspector comes, they know if the buyer's going to show up or that a buyer could potentially be there. Um, and the realtor and the buyer's realtor. So with that client, like, she couldn't understand why everybody was at her house during the inspection. So that would have been something good to do with her. Take your time explaining. So that's what I just mentioned. Don't be confrontational or too aggressive. They don't like it. And be polite. So it kind of sounds like you have to walk on eggshells. You don't. You just have to know what to do or how to interact with them. Okay, so working with a C client. A C client, they love CMAs. And when you go with that CMA, you have to know your numbers, because high Cs are very analytical. They're reserved, they're precise, perfectionism. They want an agent who is organized. If we are working with a C client, know this ahead of time so that when you show up, they're not giving you the information. You're the professional, you have to give them the information. They want enough data to make an informed choice. So this might be someone that's not going to sign a listing agreement on the spot because they want to double check the numbers, or if they know the numbers and they know that you don't know the numbers, they're definitely not going to sign on the spot the listing agreement I'm referring to. So they prefer to know the ROI instead of the color of the home. So they're not emotional at all. They're not going to sell or buy a home based off emotion. They're going to do what makes sense to them financially. They're going to do what makes sense based off the numbers, and they want to know that you know the numbers. So you tell them the numbers before they tell you, and make sure that you know a little bit more than them. So they don't like being charmed. They can probably smell that from a mile away. They don't like it. They don't like small talk, and they don't want to know about your personal life. I'm sure high Cs are very friendly people. They just like the facts. Um, an agent should be prepared, which I spoke about, well informed, know more than them, and ready to give the numbers, give the analytics. And if you're not big on numbers or statistics, and like you're not a C, then our association has a lot of tools to help you with that. Remind, RPR, there's so many tools, and I'm sure Kevin will talk about that too later, but there's so many ways to be able to give statistics. So there shouldn't be a reason why anyone can't work with a high C, why we can't be analytical, why we can't have the perfect CMA in our numbers. It just takes time. And I mean, that's what we're supposed to be doing as realtors anyways. So the celebrities that are Cs, high Cs, are Keanu Reeves and Kirsten Dunst. Also Bill Gates, self-explanatory, numbers, analytics. But yeah. Communicating with a C client. I mentioned this, focus on the facts and the details, give them the graphs, all the pie charts to back up what you're saying. Avoid getting emotional or using emotional language. Be patient, persistent, and diplomatic. So put on your poker face. So those were the 4 personality types. As I mentioned, here are the resources where you can take it for free and paid. So TonyRobbins.com, he does offer a free DISC assessment test. DISCpersonalitytesting.com also offers it. DISCprofile.com, I think it's $90. But they also have some, like, let's say you want to do this for your team. That could include for the team as well. And it gives you the range of how many people per team. Disc Insights, I don't know why there's a big difference, but I think that one is $42 for an individual assessment. And then it goes up from there for if you want to do this for a team as well. And the assessment itself takes 15 to 30 minutes, depending on you and how you answer them. It gives you the set of questions and you receive the report right away. So I think it's very helpful. There's many personality type tests, many communication. Myers-Briggs also has one. And there's also, so I was talking to my broker before this, and the other 4 personality types that we deal with a lot of in real estate, or that like coaches use. It's an analytical, expressive, a driver, analytical, expressive, driver. I forgot the 4th one, but if anyone knows it, you could say it. Analytical, expressive, drivers. I forgot it. The most important thing in communication is to hear what isn't being said. So again, this goes back to body language and using the communication to be able to know how to work with clients, how to work with realtors, anyone on your team, title companies, anyone you need information from, because like we're right now, especially with associations, like we have to know how to maneuver our way with all the changes coming. So very important. And thank you guys. This was 30 minutes. Here's my information. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but the leadership board applications are open for 2024-2025. The deadline to apply is July 19th. If you have any questions about being a leader in Miami YPN, let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. And this is also for the residential board and the Broward board and commercial board. So yeah, thank you guys. Let me know if you have questions. Kevin?
Yep, you're here. I'm just waiting for questions. Oh, yeah, and before everybody leave, the deadline to apply for the Miami YPN Leadership Board, Broward Miami, Miami Residential, Miami Commercial, is July 19th. Thank you for adding that to the to your last slide. So we'd love to consider you for any of those positions coming up. Your start would be next year.
Hi, I have a question. I don't know if
Please.
we're able to talk out like this.
You are.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for that presentation. It was great. I noticed, and maybe you did say it, but I noticed you kept saying high D, high I, all of that. Is there low, medium type personalities as well? I mean,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
oh,
Yes.
can you go over that? I know I saw a chart that you had,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wanted to see like, okay.
Yes. Yes. So like someone that's in the, because not all of us, I mean, we're human. Not everyone is going to be one personality type or a high of that one. So thank you for mentioning that. But this
Okay.
is like the gradient or the scale from if they're a high C to a low C, if they're a high I to a low I. So someone a D, for example, they're going to be, as I mentioned, demanding, forceful. But as you go lower, like they're also competitive, which is in the middle. But I mean, you can also tell with that personality type, very responsible. And then it goes down like inquisitive, conservative, mild, agreeable, unobtrusive. So someone in an I, as I mentioned, they're going to be enthusiastic, sociable. So it's like these are personality types that you're going to be able to tell right off the bat. They can also be reflective, convincing, of course, because they're influential, but a lower I is going to be a matter of fact, withdrawn. The personality type can be there, but it's a less of that I. And the time that I took, where is it? So I happened to be in the middle with my I, but I had some D, I had some S and less C. So that's what you're gonna find, like you're gonna be more of one personality type, but in certain situations, like your dominant side can come out or your steady side can come out. I still am less analytical, but I can see at that time, or there are times like that I would be a high D for certain situations, and that might come out to other people. So it's very fluid.
So in that chart, the one that you just had previous with the circle chart,
This one.
correct. The ID would be what? Like,
So I don't, can you see
do you see
my,
here on the bottom one where your
okay.
high I
Yes,
is
yes, yes.
showing? The
Mhm.
ID and the IS, what do those stand for?
So this is an influential and steady person.
Okay.
So if your circle falls lower, then you're a good mix of both with a higher I than an S. So
And then,
you see my I my circle is like off-centered by the tiniest bit
right.
going towards the S. So I'm like at that time I was a high I going into the S.
And the ID is
Someone that is that's high influential with a lot of dominant personality types.
oh, okay. So the middle one would be like the high I.
Yes, like the middle one
Okay.
is like you're a high I, you don't really deviate from that at the time. I mean, you can because it gives you, like I said, your main one and then the two other ones that are stronger. So if you look at the top one, the red is completely covered, a lot more of the
Right.
S, less of the D, and less of the C. Um, so it could be very situation based, but your main personality type would be that one. So if you take the test, let's say you're an IS, then you would be like very energized, but then at the same time, you have strong personality types of being supportive and stable and calm for certain situations.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That was great.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, well, Ashley, thank you so much for your time. We greatly appreciate your analysis, and
No problem.
we'll have the recording to you starting next week. So if you don't get it, just email me, kevin@miamire.com, and I'll let you know where we are with the status of that recording. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. I think we're off next week, but on July 24th, we'll have Ricky Carruth, a big national speaker, talking about 3 mistakes realtors make to making $1 million. So tune in then, and when I send you the recording of this class, I will send you the registration link for the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you real soon. Go out there and be great. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm gonna be on my laptop.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I have a full purse.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm eating before I leave.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm sleeping over Shelby.
We're YPN leaders.
Of course we're going to be creating content.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm signing up for classes.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm cafecito.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm gonna crash the next happy hour.
Yeah,